Okay, when we add and subtract decimals, there are 3 rules that we're going to follow. Okay, so the first rule, hold on, I'm going to make that darker. All right, rule number 1. Okay, the first rule when adding and subtracting decimals is just like the song said, we are going to line them up. Okay, and what that means is we are going to line up the decimals and the places for place value. So let me show you a couple of examples. We're going to look at 1 4/10 plus 6 75/100. Do you see how my decimals are lined up perfectly? My ones place is lined up perfectly. My tenths place is lined up perfectly. Okay? My hundredths place. Here's an example of a subtraction problem. 15 1/10 minus 7 95/100. Again, my decimals, you are writing this in your journal. What is your question?
We're writing
Yes, we are. Yes, you're writing the examples. Okay, we are writing this in your journal. What? Not yet. We're not doing the math on it. Right now, we're just doing a journal entry. Okay, so once you've lined up the decimals, rule number 2. Let's look at rule number 2. So we line them up, line up the decimals. The next thing we do is we drop it down. Drop it down. And what that means is we drop the decimal down. So this is what it looks like. If I have 1 4/10 plus 6 75/100, I'm going to automatically drop my decimal down just like that. And the same thing with 15 1/10 minus 7 95/100. We're going to drop that decimal down. So line them up, then drop it down. Line the decimal up, drop the decimal down. The final rule, rule number 3, is fill them in. Fill them in. Okay, and what that means is any empty spots we have, what are we going to fill it in with?
0.
All right, so we drop that decimal down, line it up. I'm going to drop my decimal down. Then I'm going to go fill in that empty spot with a 0. Just like that. Okay, when you're solving decimals and you look at the answers, I always want you to think. Okay, I want you to look at your answers and think. Does it make sense? I also want you to remember that no decimal changes the value and I want you to remember that place value matters. And we'll talk about that in just a minute. Y'all get that all written. Yeah, that makes it fun. What do you think I mean by when I say no decimal changes the value? Look right here. What if I have the number 1 5/10? What happens if I forget to write the decimal? What number do I have? What number do I have, Braxton?
15.
15. 15 and 1 5/10. Those are completely, I don't know what happened. Those are completely different numbers. So you have to remember your decimals, okay? You have to remember your decimals. And place value matters. We have to make sure we have everything in the correct place. If not, it will mess up our answer.